There was this Asian improv troupe that they have a show that's about like improv. There's a show about improvs, right?
Is one of the words in the name of their title rice? Like, do they do some sort of pun or something?
Maybe
pun.
But they're not all Asian. But the thing was, so it's kind of complicated. But my point is that these people kind of take these complicated issues and they don't understand them, because the gist of the thing was the Asian girl's in the improv troupe. And then she starts doing her like Asian mom accent. And then they go, oh, that's great. You should do more of that. So then she's now in the improv troupe. She's playing like the character of like an Asian. And then she's having like, now I feel like they're laughing at me, not with me. Do you know what I mean? And they're like,
you started it.
Yeah, you started it. But it kind of, my point is, which is I think a little bit complicated. It's, for one, it's not that there's, they want to make it as like, oh, I can do it because I have an Asian mom and that's the reason, but this is in the context of, they're looking at all that, but you're really, the truth is, it's like, yeah, self-depreciation is cringe when it's gross. And when you're making fun of someone, it's mean when it's too mean.
Yes.
So you're trying to find the balance. It's like, it just switched. And you go, yeah, they're two different comedic devices. And the truth,
you went too far.
Yeah, and the truth is when you're...
I mean, it's a device. That's the thing, too. Self-deprecation is like, that is a comedic device. Like, if you start out in comedy, you start watching people and you go, hey, like, if I'm like, you know, kind of floundering, I can make fun of myself and get a laugh there.
Yes.
You can't just be like, all right, that's all I'm going to do now.
Right.
Because then you're like, you people see that you're taking advantage of this trick too much. It becomes like, it's not novel. And then it's like, it like becomes a gimmick. And then it's like, it's not interesting anymore or whatever. It's not funny anymore because you do it too much.
Yeah.
And that's essentially what happens. You just like, you're like, oh, I found this little gimmick. And then you just fucking put your foot on the gas and then you go the other way with it. Like,
and human interaction in general is kind of messy. Do you know what I mean? It's like you walk into someone, like, what extent do you make fun of them? Like, well, how well do you know them? Like, how well, you know, it's all, there's a million things, right? And they want to kind of break it down to, well, here are the rules. If their mom's Asian, they're allowed to do this accent. And you go,
one drop rule.
It is one drop rule. But if you break it down, you go, that's why, if you look at all those rules where they go, you're allowed to do Asian accents on stage because your mom's Asian, be like, well, but why? Why would that be the case? Because if your mom has an Asian accent, but you don't have one, so you get to make fun of immigrants because you're related to one. So what if it's your adopted mom and you're white? Can you make fun of your immigrant Asian mom's accent? And you go, well, no, it's not because it's your mom. It has to be the same race and a different accent. Like,
yeah, you have to look like the person.
No, the truth is, it's like, it's a fucking scenario. You go, who are you talking to? What's the deal? How well can you make this joke where it's all those things?
I mean, obviously, anybody can like anybody can.
I don't think it's that obvious to everyone.
Well, no, not. I mean, it's become less and less so for sure. And the thing is, it's always like people who are like not super funny, who are like having to put all these parameters on them and be like, oh, that's not cool. Like, you know.
There's also something with those people where it's like, you can see the venom when they're, you know, when people are actually mad, but they're trying to joke around.
Yeah.
I had a good theory where I was thinking a lot of the biggest problem with those people is, and I've talked about this a little before, but I have a better theory. Okay. So I think that the best way to do comedy is you almost do it more, right? So what they do is these people are actually mad. You know what I mean? They're like, and then they try to pretend they're like they're mad, but not that mad. They're just like, I mean, whatever, like another white man, but they're actually really mad.
Yeah.
Whereas it almost would be funnier if you were like, pretended if you look at like the best people, even the ones that yell and scream, they almost even pretend they're more mad. Like,
yeah.
You know, these fucking people, like you're almost, it's kind of, if I was with my chick or whatever, right? And I was like pissed off about I got scammed on the fucking dinner or something like that. And I was actually mad about it, right? I would go, these people are fucking villain. Like you'd act really mad.
Yeah.
You go, okay, I might say, obviously I'm not that mad, but I am pissed.
Yeah.
That's like you almost whereas they would kind of be like, I mean, you know, whatever. It's just kind of these restaurant people.
Yeah, they're like passive aggressive.
Yeah, it's passive aggressive.
Yeah. Also, the thing with the accents is like they're like also mad if someone's being like successful like say someone's they're not successful and they're Asian, and there's like a white comedian who is successful doing an Asian accent. They're like, he's taking my success.
He's taking my
That's
thing.
like that's mine.
There's only
even
a
though
certain
it's
amount
not,
of laughs that can come.
But it's like he's like that. The money he makes, like he makes X amount of dollars. 5% of his act is doing Asian accent. That money's mine. Like that's how they think though. They're like, he's taking that from me, and you're like, no, that would have never been yours.
Yeah.
That was never on the table for you. But that's just like the feeling of how they like kind of think about it. It's like he's taking, like I could be the Asian. I'm Asian. Like
there's a pool
that's
of
my
Jewish
right.
jokes.
That's my right to be an Asian accent person. Like I'm Asian, and then this guy who's white, it's like he's taking that from me.
Would you feel like that if you saw someone getting famous, like, you know, doing Jewish jokes and being like, this motherfucker? Like,
Yeah, I'd be like that. I go, give me my commission.